CPR. Is it important for you to know how to do it? Here's 10 reasons why. Welcome to Getting Understanding with Dr. Daryl Ellis. We're back here talking about a topic that's really quite hot right now and really very important. Not only for you as an individual, not only just for your family, but community-wide. It's critical that more people learn basic life support skills, or CPR. CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation, or the ability to resuscitate someone who's had a sudden cardiac event that has led to a loss of pulse and or a loss of ability to breathe on their own. If it's not acted on quickly, that person very well may not survive. Acting on it quickly, however, significantly improves their ability not only to survive, but to survive without damage to their brain, to their lungs, to their heart, to their kidneys, all their vital organs. 70%, again, 70% of acute cardiac arrests occur in the home, which is why it's so important for all of us to take the initiative to learn CPR, because you never know when or where it may strike. And you may be the person in a position to save a life. The number one and most important reason why you should learn CPR is simply because it saves lives. You may be the person, you may be in the situation where you have the opportunity to be able to save someone else's life. As a physician who works in the emergency department as well as in an office practice, there's nothing more gratifying than being there at a time when someone needs you the most and being able to perform the intervention that will ultimately save their life. To see someone who has gone to a state of not being able to support their own respirations, not being able to supply blood to their brain, and being able to support them so that sense and that ability is restored so that they can once again live and enjoy their life and enjoy their families, there's nothing better than that. Learning CPR puts you in a position where you can experience that and save someone else's life. That's the number one reason. The second most important reason why it's important to learn CPR is because if you're in a situation where someone's unable to breathe and their heart stops and you provide CPR, even for just 5 minutes or so until help arrives in the form of ambulance crew and advanced care nursing or advanced care medical personnel, you can save them from having what we call anoxic brain damage or brain death. Sometimes, and more times than I'd like to say, people arrive to the emergency department having had a sudden cardiac arrest, did not get any kind of resuscitative efforts until they get to the emergency room or till the ambulance crew gets there. And by that time, their brain has been without oxygen so long that if we resuscitate their heart, their brain doesn't recover completely. Then you have a person who lives in a vegetative state for a long period of time. And that's a tragic thing. So it's very important that we have people who are ready and willing to respond early in the process. You witness someone go down, you check their pulse, you listen to see if they're breathing spontaneously, and then you act to go ahead and supply them with oxygen and supply them with blood flow through chest compressions. You can not only save the life, but you can save the brain for a life that's yet to come. The number three reason is that you may be the bystander. Well, what does that mean? In about 37% of cases where there's a sudden cardiac event, there is a bystander nearby who witnesses that event. Living or dying, life or death, brain function or lack of brain function, very well may depend on you being among that 37% who not only witnesses it, but knows what to do about it. Be prepared. Number four, what you need to know is that every minute counts in a cardiopulmonary emergency. When someone has an arrest, every single second counts, because every single second that passes by without that person being able to breathe on their own or to be able to deliver oxygen in the form of blood to their brain and the vital organs leads to progressively increasing cellular death. The more cells that die from anoxia, the more damage that is done to the organ that's affected by that anoxia. So every second, every minute counts to restore that oxygen and that blood flow. Administering CPR quickly addresses that problem. Be prepared. The fifth most important reason is that by producing or providing CPR to a person who is in need, you have not only saved their life in many cases, but also put them in a position where they can recover from the underlying event that led to the cardiopulmonary arrest much quicker. and with much less morbidity or, if you will, lingering effects. So it's really important that not only are you there to save the life, not only are you there quickly to restore and to prevent any kind of organ damage, but once that person recovers, you've made it so that the recovery is not only better, but it's faster as well. So you're providing for less care on the back end of a sudden event. I mentioned it earlier, and the number 6 reason why it's important for you to know CPR is because 70%, that's 7 out of 10 cases of sudden cardiac arrest occur in the home. You need to be the one who's prepared should a family member unexpectedly suffer an event. And it doesn't just apply to elderly people. People have sudden cardiac death as a result of a number of different issues. Some of them may be totally undiagnosed. You may have a healthy loved one who you think is healthy and suddenly has an event. If you're prepared, you can save their life. You can sustain their life until help arrives, and for all the reasons that I've stated before, put them in a position where not only will they survive, but they'll go on to lead a healthy and prosperous life moving forward. Be prepared. Number 7, CPR makes schools safer for kids. Wow, for kids. Remember I just mentioned to you, sudden cardiac death is not something that's limited just to old and sick people. 1 in 25 schools in this country, every 1 in 25 will have an event that results from sudden cardiac death in a school-aged child. It's important to the point where most schools are equipped not only with healthcare personnel that are CPR certified, but they also have AEDs equipped in most schools now. AEDs are the automatic defibrillators that you can apply to the chest of someone who's had a cardiac event. It will analyze the heart rhythm and go ahead and deliver a shock to try and get that heart going again if they're in the kind of rhythm that would respond to shock therapy. But before being able to put on an AED, you need to be prepared to start CPR. And if you know that this is something that can perhaps save a child's life, that's a very motivating reason to go ahead and get prepared. Be prepared. Number 8, and along the same lines, it makes the workplace safer. Just as we said that the 1 in 25 schools have a cardiac event, we see that about 10,000 cardiac events occur in workplaces every year. 10,000 a year. Now, in the workplace, there's a number of different reasons why you need to be prepared for a cardiac event. Number 1, it's not that uncommon. Number 2, it makes the workplace a safer place to be. A safer place to be for everybody who works there, not just the individuals who seem to be at highest risk. Now, also, it makes it a safer place for the employer to have workers there. Think about this. In the case of the NFL, a young gentleman, Damar Hamlin, healthy, vital, fit as he could be. He was a professional football player. Sudden cardiac death affected him after getting struck in the chest. Had not there been the appropriate healthcare personnel available who were skilled in cardiac resuscitation, that young gentleman would not have made it off of that field alive. Not only would that have changed the way that people look at the sport of football, nationwide and worldwide, but the NFL itself, as the employer of that individual, would have been at significant risk of liability. It's important, not only as an employee to make your workplace as safe as it can be, but also as an employer to encourage your employees to be CPR certified. In case they're that bystander, an event where a cap happened at the workplace, it can not only save a life, but can also save the dollars and cents of the bottom line of the insurance that covers that particular business. Be prepared. Number 9, you need to learn how to use an AED. AED stands for Automatic Electronic Defibrillator. It's a device that's computerized, comes with 2 big pads that you put on the chest in the appropriate fashion. When you learn how to do it, you know that you have to put one on the left anterior chest and one on the right side laterally to that so that the conduction of electricity goes through the heart. You apply the pads, you turn on the device, and then you stand back. Make sure that you're not touching the patient and make sure that you're not touching any metal that the patient might be in association with. If you are, and that AED decides to deliver a shock, you're going to get shocked too. You won't like it, trust me. So yeah, learn how to use an AED, particularly if it's available in your workplace or available in the school that you may work or your children may go to. And be sure that if you have someone who is at high risk for a sudden cardiac death, someone who has a known history of cardiac disease, you may look at getting an AED for your own home. You may be the difference between life and death in that case. So learn how to use this device. It can certainly be life-saving. And then finally, number 10. One of the other most important reasons to know CPR is because anybody can learn it. The Red Cross offers CPR training classes for children starting at the age of 9 or 10 all the way up to adults. Anybody can learn it. My eldest daughter used to have a babysitting business when she was a young teenager. She became CPR certified when she was 13 years old. Not only did it help in terms of marketing her business, but it made it so that she would be prepared if something unexpected were to happen to one of the children she was charged with the care of. It's really important. It's really easy. There's no reason not to. And you may make the difference in a life or death of an individual that you may or may not even know of. Be prepared. I hope you like the content. We're rolling out some stuff that really can be beneficial not only to you as individuals, but also to the community in which we live and in which we serve. If you like it, click that like button. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you click that subscribe button too, and the bell notification. As we continue to roll out new content, you'll be one of the first to know about it. God bless you.